I now give the floor to Mr. Ramesh Rajasingham.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I thank Special Envoy Grunberg for his briefing and his update, and this Council for its sustained interest in Yemen. At the outset, let me reiterate that a political solution remains the only sustainable, concrete path towards a more secure and prosperous future for all people in Yemen. Without it, current cycles of violence, both local and regional, along with economic devolution and endemic humanitarian need, will persist. The crisis in Yemen is a political crisis with a staggering impact on millions of people and their communities. People who do not choose who controls the areas where they live. Humanitarian assistance can work to keep people alive, but only a political solution can make them safe. Mr. President, last month, OCHA provided this Council with an update on the deteriorating state of food security in Yemen. The numbers bear repeating. More than 17 million people are going hungry. This figure may crest 18 million by February next year. Women and children bear the brunt of this disaster. And Yemen is now one of the most food insecure countries in the world. As the economy continues to collapse and pressures on the food pipelines mount, many households with access to food can no longer afford it. Livelihood across the public sector and agriculture and fisheries industries, among others, have been disrupted by ongoing conflict. Mr. President, it is all too easy to reduce Yemen's crisis to numbers. But let us consider what food insecurity means today for ordinary Yemenis. Half of the nation's children under the age of 5 suffer from acute malnutrition, and nearly half suffer from stunting. This means developmental delays and infections and a risk of death from common illnesses 9 to 12 times higher than average. In a context where healthcare is desperately inadequate and where support services are unavailable to many, this is a life or death gamble for children. And for 9-month-old Ahmed in Abs district in Hajar Governorate, lack of food and nutrients left him less than 2/3 of a healthy weight. So frail that he couldn't sit up and suffering from severe diarrhea and a high fever. His mother Hafsa was doing her best under appallingly difficult circumstances. But Ahmed still required emergency treatment for severe acute malnutrition, complicated by infection. And all this at only 9 months of age. This is not an isolated story. It is the daily reality for thousands of families and their children. And they do deserve better. In some locations, hunger and malnutrition are extreme. In camps for internally displaced persons in Abs district of Hajar Governorate, for example, a needs assessment mission in July found children from displaced families dying of starvation. These are children who have died not from war wounds, but from hunger, slow, silent, and preventable. This is the human face of food insecurity. Hunger forces people to have to make terrible decisions, negative coping strategies as we frequently refer to them. But what does this mean in real human terms? In rural areas of the governorates of Al-Mahwid, Al-Hudaydah, and Sana'a, it means families are having to sell off everything that would sustain their livelihoods in the long term. Livestock, tools, the agricultural land, just to afford food for tomorrow. It means that children are forced to work instead of going to school. And it means that women and adolescent girls face heightened risks of domestic violence, exploitation, or child marriage. In these 3 governorates alone, more than 30,000 women and girls have sought support services for gender-based violence just in the last 6 months. Nearly 1/3 of women, now aged 20 to 24, were married before they were 18. Nearly 1 in 10 were married before they turned 15. Among girls in displaced communities, these figures are even higher. These families and these girls also deserve better. Mr. President, starvation is preventable, and humanitarian organizations remain on the ground despite limited resources and operational challenges, with a singular goal of reaching those most at risk before it is too late. After receiving alarming information of the acute food insecurity and malnutrition situation in IDP camps in Abd district last month, for example, the humanitarian system, including UN, INGOs, local NGOs, and the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, quickly mobilized to provide life-saving interventions. Humanitarian partners have prioritized the food response to 8.8 million of the most at-risk people, all in emergency or catastrophic situations. So it will come as no surprise that such efforts require support, both political and financial. Mr. President, in addition to the work of our international partners to support those in need, we are ensuring that local actors are empowered and resourced to respond in the most efficient and effective ways. The Yemen Humanitarian Fund will be releasing $20 million to address the negative impacts of food insecurity. This allocation will be guided by frontline responders and local communities, those who know where the needs are greatest and how to best respond. This funding will be focused on reaching those suffering the most. It can help prevent a parent feeling they have no option but to sell a daughter into early marriage. It can help protect a displaced family from relinquishing the last of their assets. And it can help ensure that the most vulnerable, including displaced people, refugees and migrants, have access to urgent nutrition, healthcare, and clean water. This year, 2/3 of allocations from the Yemen Humanitarian Fund have gone directly to local partners. And we hope to make continued use of this resource as a nimble, flexible, and fast vehicle to address critical life-saving needs. Mr. President, alongside support for the Special Envoy's efforts towards a political solution and the release of detainees, I focus my calls to action for this month on two things. One, increased funding now to scale up urgent emergency food and nutrition support. And two, direct financial support for the Yemen Humanitarian Fund. Given the right tools, local partners can make a huge difference. Thank you.
I thank Mr. Rajasingham for the information provided.